Good afternoon. Thank you for clicking on this video. If you're new here, which I imagine all of you are at this point, because for those who didn't know, I actually have a handful of YouTube videos 5 years ago, back when I was pregnant with my first child. I now have two children, one is 5, one is 1. And I pretty much stopped doing YouTube after I had my son, my firstborn. So this is kind of like my return after 5 years, the return that absolutely no one has asked for, by the way. But it just felt right, you know. I felt like I'm at the point now where I'm kind of ready to explore things that make me happy, that are a good like focus for me, and things that I actually just really enjoy. And I think close to quite a lot of mums who essentially feel like they've lost themselves along the way. You'll probably see now by the title of the video, it's called Am I Still Stuck in 2016? Now, let me tell you, 2016 was, what a time to be alive, you know. If you were in that era of makeup back in 2016, you'll know that people collected makeup like it was an investment. Like Anastasia Beverly Hills was God, basically, in that time. You would go to the supermarket with a full cut crease eyeshadow, under baking, overlined lips, like you name it. It was a period of time where makeup artists truly thrived. And there were so many incredible makeup artists at that time as well that could really show their artistic talent. There was also a time for a lot of people that didn't have as much artistic talent, aka me, who would just wear a shit ton of makeup and maybe not blend it the absolute best, and maybe wear 2 sets of false eyelashes just to pop to the shops, because it was a time of maximum glam. What happened is, for people like me who just loved that whole time period, you know, really loved wearing like maximum full heavy makeup, when you then become a mum, it's so much more than, oh, I just don't have time in the mornings to get ready, so I'll just only put a little bit of makeup on today, or oh, I just won't wear makeup today. When you're that sort of person and then you become a mum and you genuinely have no time for yourself, so much to even just get ready in the morning, it isn't just about, oh God, I look like shit today, like I haven't done my makeup properly, or I haven't had time to do my hair, or whatever. It literally becomes like an entire loss of identity. And I felt this way for a really long time. I felt it probably more so since I've had my second child, who is my daughter. Because with your first, or when you just have the one, even though it is still all consuming, you still don't have time for yourself. You know, please don't think I'm undermining those that only have one child, but like when they are napping or when they, you know, are occupied doing something, you have those snippets of time. Whereas when you have more than one child, if one of them is doing something, you can almost guarantee the other one will need you, or vice versa. Or if one of them isn't, if your youngest one is napping, but your oldest one doesn't nap anymore, and so you just don't have the time. And so I feel like I've noticed it more now. I've had my daughter, who is 18 months old, so she's walking, she's running, she's a tornado, and you really have to prioritize, you know, your day, obviously. Now, I still make time for myself in the mornings. I set my alarm every morning before the kids wake up, so I can get myself ready, so I can do my makeup, so I can do my hair, because in all honesty, I feel so much better about myself if I am done. This generally takes me around 20 minutes, hair, makeup, which isn't loads of time, but it certainly is a lot more than what most mums would have. Or I mean, it's 20 minutes more than what I'd have if my children were awake whilst I was trying to get ready. Let's put it that way. And so even though I still prioritize time for myself to get ready, it is still not to how I would like to look, in all honesty. So on like days like today, it doesn't look bad by any means. I'm not here to like self-deprecate or anything like that. It obviously looks fine. But when you spend 10 years in such a heavy glam situation where you are like designating yourself like up to an hour to get ready in a day, but like I was trying to say, when you only condense yourself down to essentially 10 minutes to do your makeup, 10 minutes to do your hair every day, but previously over the last 10 years, you've had all the time in the world and you like the way you look full glam. You know, I liked the big eyelashes. I liked the heavy contour. I liked, you know, the baking and all that stuff. It is quite hard to adapt to just quickly doing your makeup and walking out the door going, that will do. You end up just never really feeling nice. And I think that's not just necessarily a makeup thing. I think most mums feel that way anyway. Just, you know, even if you weren't into the full glam makeup back in 2016, you would certainly still feel like, oh, I look a bit like shit. Oh, that will do. Because obviously, and rightly so, your children come first and their priorities and their needs go above and beyond yours. And therefore, obviously, something like hair and makeup will have to, you can't do it, you know, when you're getting your children ready and everything. So I completely appreciate that. But I just kind of wanted just to talk about more how it would make us feel, us mums that were once just like super glam and now kind of don't know who we are or where we sort of fit in. And for me, my identity has always been heavy glam. You know, I used to have like long hair extensions. Like I said, two pairs of eyelashes, like, you know, crazy, like full on makeup, which don't get me wrong. I'm not saying I necessarily want to look like how I looked back in 2016. Believe me, there are some outrageous pictures of me from 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020. Like, there are some absolutely unforgivable makeup moments from me back in that day. So I for sure don't want to look like some of the times how I used to look. But I feel like sometimes when I get ready, I still use 2016 techniques, but I don't always feel they suit me, if that makes sense. So like more often than not, I'll walk out the door and just be like, oh my God, like I'm so behind with the times. Like I feel like I really want to be like more current, and just look nicer, just feel better with the time that I've got. Because even though you're looking at me like, you know, I feel like this is probably a bad day for me to discuss makeup and everything, because I would feel today personally would be a good makeup day for me. I like the way I look today. It's gone nice. The colours look nice. It's gone even. Today is a good day. But also today I done the school run with no makeup on whatsoever. Then came home, gave my, made sure, you know, my daughter was fine. And then we went upstairs and I, you know, done my makeup then. And my daughter was just really happily playing next to me today whilst I was doing my makeup. So I was able to like take time with it a bit, because she wasn't crying, she wasn't screaming, she wasn't trying to grab things out of my makeup bag. She was just letting me be. And so I think because I was able to have that today, which is not normal, I don't normally get that, I was able to feel a bit better about myself. So today is a good day, you know. But believe me, that is a really not average day for me. It would normally be very rushed. And I'll just walk out the house being like, oh my God. So anyway, what I thought we could discuss is the makeup that is my current go-to. I don't love it. I don't hate it. I've just got it. This is just makeup I just use all the time, and what I'm using today as well. Okay. NARS foundation. I wear foundation every single day. I do have this NYX skin tint as well, which I also really like. So I don't always wear foundation, but it will either be one or the other. You will rarely catch me without anything on, which is silly really, because I have quite good skin. But it's normally one or the other of these. And it's really down to what I fancy wearing that day. If I want a bit more coverage, I guess I'd go for the NARS, something a bit more natural, which I truly never opt for. In terms of I truly never opt for a natural look. Then I would go for something more like this. But either or, I really like both of these. This is literally the only concealer that I ever seem to gravitate towards. It's the Maybelline Fit Me Concealer. I don't think there's much in this and the NARS concealer, the NARS Radiance something. I used to always wear the NARS concealer, and I've never really noticed the difference between this and the NARS one. I think it's a really good dupe, if I'm honest. So I've always just stuck with this. I don't necessarily think the products that I've got here are bad, that I'm about to talk about. In fact, I really don't think they're bad. I think they're really good. But I think my placement of them can be quite bad sometimes. Like, for example, I would still get my concealer and concealer all of my under eye like this, okay? So I'm using like sweeping motions, whereas like, I think like the clean girl beauty aesthetic nowadays is to be like a tiny bit there, tiny bit there. And yeah, can't relate. So this is a new discovery for me. This is the Maybelline Poreless Jelly. It's a primer. I've always like really not got on with primers. I don't know what it is, whether it's the like ingredients in them or again my application, or maybe it's my skin, I don't know, but I've always found them to be really gritty. So I'll like put a primer on my skin and then I'll find it like flaking in my hands. I'll find it like coming off on my skin. I've just never really found a primer that I truly think, oh my God, this was amazing, except for this one, which I only got like 2 weeks ago. I have really open pores. You probably, yeah, you can see, look, you can see all around my cheeks here and on my nose area as well. And you can kind of see a few up here. I have really open pores. So I do prefer to have like a nice, like more airbrushed look. And yeah, I found this has done a good enough job. Okay, if you know, you know, okay? You were either a MAC girl back in the day or you weren't it, okay? I would literally eat, breathe, sleep MAC. I feel like it is one of the most iconic brands that almost are truly faultless, in my opinion. Like, I just think they are such an incredible brand. I think people sleep on MAC so much. People don't really talk about it as much anymore. I never see like influencers talk about MAC. I'm just a MAC girl forever, and I truly think it's because MAC ain't doing clean girl aesthetics, okay? MAC ain't there for that. MAC is doing drag. MAC is doing stage makeup. MAC is doing 2016 glam, okay? That is where it's at. And I think I would have my whole face based on MAC makeup. Like, I think it is so truly fabulous. So I use all three of these powders every single day. So the first one is such an iconic shade, right? Give Me Sun. So these are the mineralized skin finishes, am I right? Yeah, these are the mineralized skin finishes. Give Me Sun is the absolute like iconic MAC bronzer. So many people have it. Some people don't like it because it's really warm and it can look quite orange, but for me personally, I lean to orange colors in bronzers. You can get some bronzers like Hoola from Benefit that is much more cool toned, but on my skin it just always looks quite muddy. I have a more neutral to warm undertone, so I prefer like warmer, oranger, golden kind of shades. So MAC Give Me Sun, iconic bronzer. Now, depending on how tan I am, if I'm really not tan at all, like in the winter and stuff, I use a really, I mean, look how light that is. I use a really mega light under eye powder. So this again is the MAC Mineralized Skin Finish, but I couldn't tell you the shade because it's covered in foundation. So it is your guess as good as mine what shade number this is. But this would be for my under eyes. I don't have a brush on here, but yeah, I would just use a small brush and like pat it under my eyes, and I think it gives a beautiful airbrush finish. I also really like the Charlotte Tilbury airbrush powder, but I don't have any of that left, so I've been definitely using this. But on my on my more tan days, so for example, I'm going on holiday soon to Turkey, I'll be taking the same brand, you know, same MAC powder, the mineralized skin finish, but this is in medium golden. Now this probably would still be too dark for my under eyes, but I like to blend out my bronzer with this shade to kind of like kind of around here and stuff. I would like blend it so my bronzer doesn't look too harsh. So yeah, these three, don't sleep on these. On the topic, whilst on the subject, MAC blushes, again, I just think they're so good. So this one is actually not really my color, but because I've got a whole full size of these that has barely been used, I'm just making my way through my makeup. So this one is called Fleur Power, but my favorite shade is Peachy Keen. But yeah, the MAC blushes, again, faultless. Like, I think they're not too pigmented, which sounds weird, but like sometimes when you put your brush onto your powder and then put it on your face, like I think I've had a Charlotte Tilbury one in the past, which is beautiful and it picks up the powder beautifully, but I almost need less on because the minute I put it on my cheek, it's like, whoa, like just strike of colour. Whereas this is a bit more buildable, which I enjoy. So yeah, the MAC blusher, great. Use a MAC lip liner as well. I have about 10 of them. and it is called MAC Strip Down. It is literally the only colour I will ever wear, day, night, don't care what the occasion is, I'm wearing MAC Strip Down. I honestly think it is the most amazing lip liner. Like I said, I've got 10 of them upstairs. You'll never catch me without one. If I was to only have one and then was to lose one, I would have to find a MAC store that would do next day delivery immediately to get one again. It is like faultless product in my opinion. And I've actually just used the Refi Beauty, which again is quite new to me. We're not judging, by the way, dirty makeup packaging. Listen, I'm a mum. They're getting shoved in my makeup bag and I'm going about my day, okay? So the Refi Beauty, I really, really like these. They're like the little, you know, I don't know what this application was called really, but it's not like a brush or anything. It's like a metal thing. But anyway, really like these. Got these from Sephora. And then for the eyes, this is where I fall into the 2016 category sometimes, because for me, I would consider my eye quite a heavy eye. I love eyeliner still. I wear lashes every day, and obviously mascara. So I use a combination of different eyeliners really. I don't tend to reach one more than the other. At the moment, I'm wearing the Urban Decay eyeliner in Smog. I really actually like these ones because they have a very, I don't know if you can see because I'm going to be in the focus here. There you go. They have like almost like a metallic finish, if you can see, which I always like the idea that it'd make my eyes look sparkly. I don't know if it does, but that's why I bought it. And I tend to still eyeline all of the underneath my eyes and also all of like on top here, like I always go over with a liner. Again, I used to wear more liquid liner back in 2016, but I've definitely moved on to pencil now. It's marginally softer. So I always go in with a brown eyeliner. I also use a L'Oreal brown one. Can't remember the name of it, sorry. And also the Barbarella Brown by Charlotte Tilbury. Charlotte Tilbury do the most amazing eyeliners and lip liners because they are so creamy. So they go on like absolute butter. It's beautiful. But with my eyeliner, I always feel that it smudges really bad throughout the day. And I think that's because they're so creamy and I've got oily skin. They just don't blend well together and they run. So I tend to stay away from their eyeliners now. And yeah, Urban Decay or MAC. I have MAC brown eyeliner in Costa Rica, which is also really good. But yeah, they're the two I would sort of go between. So because I'm a false eyelash wearer, I fell into this trap of not really caring what mascara I had because I only use it for my bottom lashes. But then after I went through a phase for months and months and months, almost like a year, where no matter what, my eyeliner my mascara would print like full panda eyes every single day. And it used to drive me mental because I'd go out in like social situations, parties, dinners, whatever. And within 5 minutes, I'd just look at my face and my camera on my iPhone and be like, oh my God, and just cringe. Because I'd have full panda eyes and I just felt like an idiot all the time. So I actually asked ChatGPT, like, how do I get rid of panda eyes? And they said I need to use a tubing mascara, which ironically, this one isn't. However, I've only actually used this one today because I ran out of my old mascara and this is brand new that I literally opened up today. So, so far so good. However, I would normally use the L'Oreal Panoramic mascara. That's tubing mascara. And I would also use the Clinique, what's it called? Is it like All Hours or Extra Long Wear or something? That mascara is really good. That's a tubing mascara. I think any tubing mascara won't print. And if you have oily skin like me and you have quite oily under eyes, and you're quite expressionate with how you talk, then you're going to want to opt for a more tubing mascara to stop it from smudging. However, like I said, today I'm not wearing a tube mascara. I am just wearing one of the old school classics, Telescopic from L'Oreal. And so far so good. So then lastly, brows and me, we have a love-hate relationship. I had my brows tattooed back in 2015, I think. And the stencil, I guess, of the tattoo is still there. So I always have like a rough idea where to kind of draw over. I tend to use like any old eyebrow pencil. I don't think that there really is such thing as a good or bad eyebrow pencil. I just have a Benefit one for those that care. And I just kind of fill in a few gaps over here where I'm more sparse. And then I go over it with the Got To Be eyebrow gel. Some people say this rips their eyebrow hairs out. But I wouldn't know. And I wouldn't care in honesty because I've got the tattoo underneath it. I've got some hairs left. Whatever. So I just use this one, and it does keep them in place all day. So that does the job. That was just kind of like a rough overview of the makeup that I wear on like an everyday basis. But the reason like I said, wanting to do this whole video is like, one, kind of give you into a snippet of how I do my makeup every day, but also just to begin this series of just kind of where to go with it. Like I said, today feels like a bad day to start this video, because today I'm actually having I would consider a good makeup day. But for reference, the reason why I think I'm having a good makeup day is because I've got I tanned last night, so my skin is a little bit more like warmer than usual, so my makeup's going on a bit nicer. But also I'm wearing 2 sets of false eyelashes, which I think is extreme. So I have my lashes done by a therapist, a beauty therapist. I had those salon lashes done. But when I get towards so I'm having my infills done in 3 days time, and honestly I've got like hardly any left, and I absolutely despise the way I look when I'm due my lash infills. So on those days I then put on a strip lash on top. So if you can imagine, I'm now wearing 2 sets of eyelashes, and all I'm doing is like the school run, pottering around the house, taking my little girl out. I feel like that's quite extreme just to look nice or just look okay. Kind of wanted to bring you a bit closer just so you could see pretty much how my makeup is looking today. Like I said, today is considered like a good makeup day, so it's probably the worst day for me to start this series on, am I stuck in 2016? Do I look really bad? Is my routine really dated? Like, this would be a bad day to start it on, because I actually think today's a good makeup day. So it's not necessarily reflective on why I wanted to start this series in the first place, because I really was feeling like shit all last week of how my makeup was looking. So maybe I will probably do my next video where it's a bit more relatable, where like I really do have 5 minutes to do my makeup, not like 20 minutes a day when my daughter was happily playing next to me and I'd already done the school run, so I didn't have to rush or something like that. Whereas normally I'd be rushing my makeup, doing the school run, going straight out with my daughter to some sort of baby group or toddler group or whatever, and then coming home being like, oh my God, I look like crap sort of thing. Whereas today it's been a bit more of a slower paced morning, so I have had the time. Yeah, kind of just want to do this one for the mums out there that really did enjoy wearing a lot of makeup back in the day. Like I said, it kind of feels a bit like an identity change. Oh, my phone's control. It really does feel like an identity change when you go from being such like an avid full head, face and makeup user to then suddenly being stripped of it all, but still wanting to look nice. It's not like I want to be like, I'm a mum now, I don't wear makeup anymore, like I don't have time. I don't want to be like that. I want to still make myself the time every morning to look nice, to feel presentable, all that sort of stuff. So it's kind of like that weird place where I sit, but I also absolutely hate the way I look without makeup on. I absolutely hate the way I look without makeup on. So hence why it's important to me to, get myself sorted, get myself looking nice for the day. Therefore, I will just have an all-round better day, which is quite a weird statement to make, but it's just how I feel. And I just started thinking to myself, like, I cannot be the only mum that feels this way. Like, I can't be. I cannot be the only mum that feels like they still want to look nice, they still want to make an effort. So yeah, I'm probably rambling a lot in this video. I hope it makes sense. I hope it doesn't come across as superficial as what it sounds in my head. But yeah, I don't know. If you're one of those mums, please let me know. I don't want to feel alone in this journey. We're just trying to like look our best out here with the little time that we have. And if you have any tips, I hope this just makes sense, this video. It feels very word vomit style. I mean, listen, even me just doing this video right now, my daughter is upstairs having a nap. Just know I've eaten into 20 minutes of nap time just to do this video, okay? We never stop. But anyway, thank you so much for joining me. And if you're on this journey too, where you're a mum, you want to start making an effort with yourself to feel good again, but you have no idea where to start, you don't even know what products are good anymore, you're still buying the same old stuff from like 4 years ago, then yeah, I'm right there with you. I'll see you on the next one. Bye.